just have a question about love and anger.
Right.
So with the love thing, is it possible to remove expectations from the animals and the people and just accept them where they are and be present and all of those great things and love them at the same time? Is that possible?
Read 4:12 again. Yes, ma'am. Because what happening is you're dying from the fake love. And in the fake love, which is the ego, which is of the devil, all that mess is a part of it. You know, I got to feel something. I need something. I got to love you. You got to love me back. I need to tell you I love you. You got to tell me you love me. When the ego is dying, all that disappears too. All expectation, because it's the idea, it's the nature of the devil. It's not of you and it's not of God. And then you're going to love everybody without even trying. It's like the lights are on. It'll be like that. Okay. And it doesn't mean you're going to accept the evil in the other as a good. You just won't hate them for it. So if a drag queen come up to you, ooh, I want to dance. Whatever they do. I don't understand drag queen shows. But let's say a drag queen come up, and you'll see this man or woman in drag. I promise you, when you have perfect love, you will have no opinion about it, because you will know what's driving that person and that they cannot see. And you will literally, and you'll go to dinner with the drag queen and have no opinion about it. Now, and Satan will be trying to give you thought, they'll pass. But you will have no opinion, because you would know it's not that person. You would know what's driving them. Okay. Isn't that amazing?
It is, yeah.
Can you imagine living that way?
Yeah, I can. I do have a question.
Because Jesus, hold that question, don't forget it. Jesus hung out with everybody. The worst of what we call the worst of the world. He had no opinion about the person. He knew it was the devil in them. So he was just of love. And that's how he wanted his children to be. Well, we are his brothers and sisters when we're born. But God wanted his children to be that way. He tried to get the light through us in order to help save the world. But if we're going to judge the world, how are we going to save it? You must be born again. Go ahead, your second question.
I wanted to know your thought, your perspective on anger in terms of, for example, I might be listening to something where the topic is on abortion, and there's a debate about that, late-term abortion, and I find myself, since discovering you, I find myself getting angry, like my ears get hot. That's how I know that I'm starting to get to that
Right.
boiling point.
Yeah.
However, now when I have those moments, I know what's happening, and I say they don't know what they're doing.
Yes.
They don't know what they're doing, and
Yeah.
I just cut it off, and I stop thinking about it altogether.
Yes.
And everything dissipates. But I do feel that tinge of anger at the outset.
Only because you're thinking of that, and Satan is reminding you of the way you used to feel about abortion. You used to judge the people who had the abortions. Thought would come, feeling of anger would come, and you would judge them. But now when those thoughts come, let them pass. Okay. And there will be no judgment. You're just overcoming that, that's all. And Satan is tempting you with it to still make you angry, to judge them, but they can't see. If these people were able to see, they would never have an abortion. They just can't see. There is, we did this report where Planned Parenthood is getting these mobile cars or abortion move-about things. And they're going to the states where want to allow abortion in the states, and they're going to the borderlines, according to the report, of these states, and they're telling the women, come on over and have an abortion, just cross the borderline. And when I heard that, I'm like, that's interesting. The devil is doing everything he can to destroy, to kill the firstborn, to the point they're going to put something together and go to the borders and make sure you have an abortion. But I realize Planned Parenthood can't see. They're motivated by Satan, ego, a false feeling of love and feeling good. And they've been convinced they're doing the right thing, but they're evil. So you can't hate them. And you're going to start seeing that, don't worry. But watch the thoughts when you hear about this stuff in the past. That makes sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I do have one last little
Because
bitty
you
thing,
can't
too.
have the feelings without the thoughts. No, that's fine. That's what we are for here.
Okay.
You can't have the feelings without the thoughts. It's all in the thoughts. The feelings come from the thoughts. They're not yours. They have never been yours. They never will be yours. The thoughts or the feeling has never been you. It comes with the darkness imagination. Okay.
Yeah, that all makes sense. Thank you. I have one more small question that you just sparked. I remember hearing either on your Fallen State or one of your shows about a woman who had a friend who was a prostitute, and the woman no longer wanted to associate with this woman. So I understand that we are not supposed to be coming from a place of judgment. However, if I have a friend who's, say, murdering people, and they want to hang out with me, if I'm not impacting them to turn to the Father, would they be impacting me? I mean, how is it okay? How do you reconcile with that? You know?
Perfect question. By not trying to reconcile with it. Perfect love will work itself out. It will work on your behalf. So because everybody you hang out with got something going on anyway, you just don't know it. And so perfect love will work that out inside of you. And if there are words to say to your friend, you will. If you need to stay, you will. If you need to hang out, you will. If not, you'll leave, but you will see by perfect love what to do. Don't think about that in advance because it becomes a thought. And then once it becomes a thought, and your friend you see your friend like, oh, I made so much money prostitute today. And you've already had a thought about it. Now you don't want anything to do with her, or you deal with it in the wrong way. It's best to deal with things in the present. Don't plan ahead.
Got it.
That makes sense?
Perfect. Yes, it does.
And that's what
Yeah.
the devil, he want to divide you by making you think about, well, what would happen if this happened? What would happen if that happened? That happened before. He keep you divided instead of one. Be one so you can deal with things in the present without planning.
Yeah. It's all about the thoughts, all lies.
All
period.
about the thought.
Yeah.
Well, the thought said, well, Jesse say that, this and that. Well, what about my prostitute friend? What would I do? How should I do? Don't plan it. God has a light. You'll be fine. He is a light. Don't plan how you're going to deal with anything. Except practical things, like for instance, we're talking about building a project, working on a project, but you're not going to live by that. All right?
Yes.
It's so easy, folks, but it's the thoughts you got to overcome. Overcome the thoughts, overcome the anger, you'll overcome the world. Anger is evil. Yes, sir.